So, as you guys may know, that the show comprises of all the things that I like, and usually people expect a little bit of entertainment on this segment of the show, artists, etc., etc. But the way I also entertain myself is through sports, and this COVID-19 situation has actually taken that little bit of entertainment away from me. But as of late, we've been very lucky with international sports have been back on air. We know now the Premiership has been basically wrapped up. Shout out to Liverpool. We know Manchester's doing well. The least we say about Arsenal, they're better. So I'm not even going to go into that little bit of a headache. So that's what's happening as far as sports is concerned. So to help me have a sporting conversation, I have a sports broadcaster on the line. She, of course, lends her voice and insight as far as sports is concerned for Massive Metro, an online radio station in South Africa. She joins me now via Skype. Her name is Itumeleng Banda. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Hi, Sia. Thanks for having me. I think I've made it. Once I'm on your show, everything else can wait. Everything else can wait.
I appreciate all the nice things guests say on the show, so I'll take that.
Take it, it's yours.
Did you miss sports as much as we did? Like, as a sports broadcaster, do you find yourself like, oh, okay, now it's time for the sports, ding, 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 and then you have nothing to report?
I think for me it was terrible because I report on football only. Right?
Yeah.
And football was like shut down everywhere. And obviously we were nearing the middle and the end of the season for everything. So it was a nightmare. So I had to follow the rumors. I had to just make something up, look for archives, just do something. It was a nightmare.
And how do you feel now that sports is back on? Well, at least partially, because we know, things like contact sports has not been open. We know basketball just recently started as soon as today, I think, in the US. So there are some sporting codes that have not opened fully. But is this a good time for you?
It is a great time. It is a great time, but it's also a bad time because, listen, it was hard for me to adapt to the whole, it looked like I was watching PlayStation. So the whole no fans, no everything, and just listening to the sound and kind of like hearing them scream each other's names. So that for me, that was a nightmare, but I got used to it. But I'm glad I have results to report on. Transfers are also going on. That's about to open up soon. But I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy. At least keep the I'm happy.
At least, when's there something shame?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your love for sport. When did this come about? I mean, a little bit that I know of you used to be a newsreader, and then how did you transition from news into what I think now is you found your footing as a sports broadcaster? How did that come about?
So obviously I started at Alex FM and I was reading news. And after that, obviously I moved around different radio stations and then I landed at Massive Metro. And when I got there, I was told that they want a voiceover artist. So I was there to do voices. And funny enough, the script that I was given wasn't a voiceover script. It was a bulletin and it was a sports bulletin. And that for me was a nightmare. So here I am trying to prepare because I'm like, hey guys, I need a job. I don't have a job. So I did that, put it together, and Mutidisi Mohono was at the time the sports reader there. And she was putting together a team and she was like, you know what? I want this kid. But when I met her, I didn't even know who the hell she was. Yeah. And people were like, do you know who she is? I'm like, no, who that? You know? And I told her, I was honest. I was like, I know nothing about football. I literally don't watch it. I know nothing. And she was like, it's fine, you'll learn. And for me, I was just like, this woman has so much faith in me. I don't even know why she doesn't know me. But I took it and I ran with it. And I think every day I'm learning, every single day. I'm enjoying it. I'm falling on my face. I'm embarrassing myself. But from those embarrassments, I'm learning. So it's an
Yeah,
incredible journey, and I love it. And now I have a women's football show that I host called Feminine First
yeah,
Touch with Portia Modise. So yeah, I
yeah.
love it.
Tell us a little bit about that. So, what is the show all about?
So the show focuses on women's football, as you know that we do not have any professional football league for women in South Africa. And also a
Yeah,
lot of women who play within our national teams are normally silenced because they need to secure the bag. And that bag that they're securing is literally like 1,005 or maybe 3,000 rands, which is really
yeah,
unfair. And we feel like we should be moving towards what the other countries are doing, the European countries are doing in terms of having professional leagues for women and allowing women to be equal with men. So, what my show basically does is we provide a platform also because our sports stars aren't known. They're really known. Well, should I say our female sports,
yes.
footballers are not known.
Minus Casta Semenya every now and then. That's all we know as far as female sports is concerned.
Yeah.
Because trust me, uh, even some youngsters don't even know who Portia Modise is.
Yeah. And that for me literally because now I'm in the space and I'm so passionate about it. It breaks my heart when people say they don't even know what Banyana is. Others they're like, oh, we have a national team for women, and that for me is like, guys, it was formed in '93.
Yeah,
So it's a platform for us to give these women
yeah,
a voice to be heard and also just advocate for women's football and make people understand that it's although it's a sport that's also played by men, but it's apples and bananas. You can't compare the two. Women's football should be packaged in a way that it can be sold as women's football.
also to help sponsors come on board to make sure guys don't earn 1,005 as you are saying now. Okay, so there's in the sports realm, all right. So I'm sure even now, as I said, I'm going to speak about sports with somebody. They were expecting a man on the other side. So women seem to be dominating sports broadcasting. Does that come with some level of discrimination? Do you attend a football match and you have to do a post-match analysis and you meet a guy and a guy's like, oh, you a girl want to talk about sports? Do you find those issues still?
I really do. I mean, when I started out, the team that I was working with, I was told to stop wearing makeup. You don't need to wear makeup. It's not about you. Things like that. And for me, that kind of in a way broke me because I was like, I wear the makeup because it's one of my confidence boosters, so that I can
Yeah,
step up onto the field and do my job. You get criticized for what you wear. You get
yeah,
criticized for so many things. Asking a question within the media briefings should be one of the most daunting things that could ever happen to you. Because first of all, who are you? You've never played the sports. And I think to make
yeah,
it worse with me is because you're young. You know nothing
true.
and you're going to listen to us. So, and I think the women who have come before us, I think they are the stereotypical, if you work in sports, you need to wear tracksuits, you can't wear earrings, you can't have makeup on,
Yeah,
have your hair tied back.
yeah,
And that's what the men became accustomed to, and that's what they expect everyone to look like. But I think with time it's changing. I see it on television. Your Carol wears a bit of color here and there. She has her
yeah,
nails done and everything. For me, the most of it is not necessarily of what you look like, but it's about what you're giving me. So if you're giving me
yeah. The
quality and if you're giving me
content
excellence,
that you have,
yeah,
yeah.
you can't
Okay.
hate excellence.
That's fantastic, which I'm sure, and I know that you do bring it to every broadcast. Now, a question that always comes to mind because I've seen guys who do sports programs and etc. And I saw one guy by the way, and I thought this guy, you know what, has a big tummy to be to be reading anything sports related. That was me, right? So do you also need to stay fit? Do you also need to be a active person to be in sports broadcasting?
Well, you don't necessarily. I don't think you need to look a specific way unless you're entering with South Africa. But for me personally, I see it beyond just being a broadcaster, and I see myself associating with brands. And obviously, you've got to look the part. I'd love to bring in feminine products into the game also. Probably have like a clear or have a makeup brand sponsoring football as well. So I think
Yeah,
for me, you need to be the brand before you bring the brand. So
yeah.
those who ba tlogellang ka mekhaba, that's their choice. I try my best. I try my best to always have my brand on.
You gotta be representative in some form. You can't be talking about sports and look like you own taxis. That's all I'm saying. Uh, so another question is, do you have to play? Did you play any sports back in high school?
I did. I did. I played, I tried to play softball. I sucked. I was in like the C team. I did a bit of swimming, but that ended in primary school because high school we didn't have a pool. I was in the B team. And I also played netball, but that stopped also when I became, I think, head girl, deputy head girl in high school.
All right, Itumeleng Banda, ladies and gentlemen. She's a sports broadcaster. Wish you all the best, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sia.
All right, that's it. It's Itu. When we come back, it will be the end of the show.